Join us, Millie, Junty, and our kids as we find the extraordinary wonder in our ordinary lives. Welcome to Wonderlust.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining us again today. Today we thought we'd share with you some top tips for enjoying Singapore, whether you are a local or whether you're an expat here or whether you're just on holiday in Singapore. We think we've got some top tips for you because, well, we've been here living for nearly 2 years now.
Yep.
Before that we holidayed here heaps, and also I'm kind of a local, even though I sound Brit. It's all good.
Yeah, travel is opening a lot more. We've had more restrictions lifted. You don't have to wear masks outside, which is really, really nice. And if you are planning a visit here on holiday, the first thing you'll notice when you step off that plane that hits you like a wall is the weather here. Like, you can't get away from it. The weather is hot, it's humid, it's sticky. There's a thunderstorm rolling in behind us now. It's very tropical, yeah.
We've noticed that a lot of local people really don't like the weather.
Yeah.
And they complain about it a lot. I think when the Brits left Singapore, they left complaining behind, because the Singaporeans love to complain about the weather. But but I think for us, we've just got used to it, and we've just decided that we're going to deal with the weather.
Yeah.
You know, if we go out for a walk in anywhere, whether it's a city, wandering around the city, or whether we're going through the rainforest or whatever, which we'll talk about in a bit, and we will just always make sure that we've all got water bottles with us.
Yeah.
So we're really, really well hydrated. We know we're going to sweat, so we just kind of get on with it and just deal with the sweat. When we get home, we'll just wash.
Everybody else is sweating too.
Yeah, so I think there is an element of just getting on with it and getting used to it, because the payoff is so big.
It is, yeah. Some are like the nature walks and things. Like, we've got some friends who are like, oh, but it's too hot. But I think once you kind of keep going, and you have to drink more water than you think. I've been caught out a couple of times with being dehydrated and just felt really sick. You do have to kind of drink more, even when you're indoors in AC. Like, it still can be warm. But I think the first few months when we were kind of getting used to it, like, Milo was just red. Sweat dripping the whole time, and like people would be fanning him with like paper, like if we walked past, and just trying to get him to cool down. But I think it took a good 3 or 4 months to actually kind of get used to it.
Yeah, but then on holidays, I think just because there was a holiday vibe, you know, it is warm, but we kind of just got on with it, and we just enjoyed the fact that it was different to the UK.
Yeah.
And we took advantage of that. So I guess the first top tip is all around the weather.
Yep.
Enjoy it.
Yep.
Endure it.
Yeah.
Bring water.
And I think at home, if you've got a place that allows the windows and doors to be open with the AC off, try and do that during the day as well, so that your body's getting used to the heat. Like, you know, we've got one of those Dyson fans, and that's really helpful just to get the air moving, but just so that your body is actually getting used to the heat. So when you go out, it doesn't feel like quite a difference. I feel it when I've been in AC all day, that you suddenly get outside and it feels so much hotter because your body's been used to a cooler temperature all day.
And if you're local, you probably know that anyway, because like my grandparents don't have AC in their apartments. They just have the windows, and they keep the windows open, and there's always a breeze, and that makes a huge difference for just getting used to what it's like here. I think probably only once or twice in the last year have I felt that it's been a really, really hot day. And yeah, just dress well for it. We always used to say there was no such thing as bad weather, just wrong clothing, right? Like at work, I used to wear these long sleeve shirts, amazing shirts made by Uniqlo, because you don't have to iron them. They're like crisp. They even have like a little thin crisp line down the side, looking like they've been ironed, but I've never ironed them, and they stay like that, but they're quite thick.
Yeah.
So recently I've gone with some slightly tighter, some tighter. So recently I've gone for short sleeve shirts, just to keep myself cool to and from work. They're thinner as well. They're actually a bit tighter, so that I don't have to iron them so much. I just tense the creases out of it.
It's a housekeeping tip for
Housekeeping
you
tip.
there.
Tense the creases out of your shirt.
Free. Next up, eating local food.
Definitely.
Yep.
Eat local is such a big way to get to know Singapore. Like, the local food is totally unique. Also, like, I'll go on about it forever, but I won't. I could. The food here is not just unique, but it's amazing. It's the only local food culture that has got UNESCO World Heritage status. Try it all, but also eat it in the local places. We found out that you can pay something ridiculous, like $25 for a local chicken rice at a hotel. And if you were to go locally, and no joke, you can get it for $2.50.
Yeah.
Which, for those in the UK, that's like £1.80 for a meal. That's going to fill you up. It's dinner.
Yeah.
The other day, so I pass a hawker centre if I walk home from work. And the other day, Millie and I both had our full dinner meal for $5.60, which ends up being like £2.80, maybe £3 for both of us. So do look local. Try something new every single time. I think a good tip is like yours, going around the food court.
Yeah, so I've had a few. Going around. There's this mall near us.
She means mall.
Sorry, guys. There's a shopping mall near us, and I decided that I was going to try everything in the Food Republic upstairs. So I just started at one, and I made my round around. And there was one that was like a health food one. And I wasn't really up for trying that still, but I tried Thunder Tea Rice because they had it on offer, and I loved it. And I've had it loads of times since. It's that kind of thing when I'm feeling like I've had too much fried food. I will go and get that. So I would just recommend go and just try lots of different things. And like when we go out with our friends and family, it's quite common just to everybody just pick a dish and then bring it to the table and you just all share. So I'd recommend, go out with your family,
particularly
choose a dish and get something new.
Particularly now that restrictions are over, just like the other week, the other day, Thursday, I think, I was at Chomp Chomp Hawker Centre, which is in Serangoon. If you've never been, it's great. And it was the first time I felt like it was old school hawkering. We all had different things. We stuck it all in the middle of the table and we all shared. And it was just great. It was so nice. And I think now that the COVID things are easing a little bit, that makes life so much easier to better share. People aren't so conscious about getting a satay stick on someone else's food or like sharing dip or whatever. So it's all good.
It is good. There's food and there's also local drinks. Kopi.
Yeah, definitely.
Local coffee here is very different to a coffee that which is from the UK, because that's where we're from. If you're ordering a coffee over here, ordering a Kopi, you'd get something quite different.
Yeah, so I think that's probably another tip within the food one in terms of eating local. Understanding how to order your coffee or how you like it. You probably need to try lots of different types or different combinations to be able to find out what you like. So, for example, I usually, at home, I drink my coffee black with no sugar. When I'm out at like a barista cafe, I would have a flat white usually. And then which has no sugar as well, so everything's not sweet. But then if I'm going for a local coffee, I'll just have a kopi sudai, which is a coffee with the condensed milk, but with less sugar. So it's still sweet. So again, it's got a very different flavour to it. I think you've got to treat it as a different drink altogether.
Yeah.
On the note of coffee shops, actually, coffee shops here it's very confusing. You've got, like, if you go to a cafe, that's like a regular cafe where you're going to get a coffee, probably barista-made coffee.
Yeah.
But then you've got a coffee shop, which actually is almost like a corner area where you have all sorts of different foods. It's a bit like a hawker centre, but it's not a hawker centre. For me, the main difference is that they have like a card menu that you could choose from, whereas hawker centres have got loads and loads of different stalls in one place. A coffee shop might just have a smaller number.
Yeah, smaller than your little drink store.
I can describe the picture, like I can see the difference, but it's really hard to describe. Usually it's at the bottom of a big building, whereas a hawker centre might be standalone and have its own kind of roof and stuff. Yeah, but coffee shops tend to be a little bit more expensive than hawker centres. Hawker centres, you can get stuff super, super cheap. Coffee shops actually are still really cheap, but just not as cheap. And the food at both is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'd say do that. I mean, the tip was like eat local. It's so easy to go to restaurants. It's so easy to stick to what you know. But yeah, definitely explore different stalls in coffee shops and hawker centres and food courts.
Yep.
Our next tip is probably to explore more of Singapore. See what I did there? I literally just did it.
Well done.
Thanks very much. But explore more of Singapore. Like, it's so easy to stick to Marina Bay Sands, shopping area, for tourists, Gardens by the Bay, Singapore Botanic Gardens, the zoo.
Yeah, those places are all incredible.
They are actually amazing and worth like revisiting.
Oh yeah, for sure. But there's so much more to Singapore. When you kind of move away from those things, once you've kind of done those places are always worth going back to. But there's a whole other side of Singapore that we've really been enjoying exploring over the past couple of years.
Yeah, with this hot, sticky, kind of humid tropical weather that we were talking about, also comes the most beautiful rainforest areas that you will ever experience, I guess. Like, for it being such a tiny country and such a city-like country, to be able to just travel 5 minutes, 10 minutes out of the main city centre, you're in thick rainforest, walking around, completely different sounds, no traffic. It's absolutely beautiful, and it is so wonderful to go and experience all of that. Little streams flowing through. The wildlife is completely different. Actually, in the northwest of Singapore, I think you get probably the most authentic, what Singapore would have been like before it became a city. At the Sungai Buloh wetlands area, it is just amazing. You've got saltwater crocodiles, monitor lizards are everywhere.
Huge ones over there.
Yeah, we've encountered some snakes over there.
Yep.
I mean, it might not be your thing, but one of the things that's brilliant about Singapore is that there's all these pathways everywhere, and to make sure that you are safe, that you're not going kind of off the trail into dangerous areas, crocodile infested waters. So it's really, really important to stick to those. And the discovery that you'll have there is just fantastic. I think nature in Singapore is totally, totally underrated. You see all the glitz and the glam of everything, even like, the movies that have Singapore in them, which I love as well. All about the big city life, all the lights and everything. But really, when you get out, you see these beautiful areas and wildlife, birds that you've never ever experienced before, are just stunning. Yeah. In fact, we follow some people on Instagram who take the most beautiful pictures, and they kind of inspire us to go out and check it out. Another huge recommendation from us, I think, would probably be to explore Singapore's islands, the islands that are around Singapore. Singapore is made up of 64 different islands, and most people only know about this one in Sentosa.
Yeah, that's true.
Sentosa's good, actually.
Sentosa's great.
That would be a recommendation, but a very different sort of recommendation. While we're talking about exploring the non-touristy areas, potentially, I would say Pulau Ubin, St. John's Island, Lazarus. Kusu Island is one of my favourites. I think it's just got a really quirky and fun little personality of an island that I really like.
I think if you just want to feel like you're just getting away from city life, like there you're just on a beach. Yeah, and it is so lovely. You take everything you need with you. You get a little boat over, which is fun in itself, and you can't leave until the boat comes back. And I really like that because you're just there chilling out. Yeah, quality family or friend time. It's brilliant.
On that note, Kusu Island last week had a really, really tragic fire.
Yeah,
there was a beautiful temple or shrine on the top of the hill at Kusu Island, and I'm lucky enough to have been there. Millie didn't. She stayed at the bottom of the hill with the kids, and I went up to check it out. And it just had a really, really tragic fire, and the whole thing's gone. If any of you know how we might be able to support them, if you know if they're doing any fundraising or anything, please let us know. I've done a little bit of research. I couldn't find anything earlier this week, so please let us know, and we'll see what we can do to help as well. But I would recommend going to Kusu, exploring everything that's there. Even St. John's is beautiful. There's so much history on St. John's, which is fantastic. So explore all of that. I implore you to explore more of Singapore.
Oh, it's getting worse.
But with that, the local history there's so much depth to the local history. There's a lot that's up until kind of the World War era, but even beyond that, Fort Canning, for example, has the gravesite of Singapore's last king, which was back in the 1400s. So you need to check it all out. There's so much depth here that people don't see, and that people just assume is just city life here in Singapore, hotels, and spending an incredible amount of money.
I think it's given us more of an understanding of where Singapore's come from, because it is still a fairly new country with all of this going on, and there's new buildings being built all the time. But I think we've got more of an understanding of it. Yeah,
the pace of it forces you to not see it. It forces you just to see what's happening now. But if you kind of just take it easy for a bit, there's so much to find out about this amazing, amazing little country. As you know, we have children, 2 absolutely mad children who are awesome. But as a family, it gives us a whole new perspective on Singapore as well. And I think that's something really, really important to share with you. One of the big things for us is reminding the children where they live by giving them local friends. We are part of an international community, I guess, in that we the kids go to international school. I work at an international school, but for them to be able to have, obviously we've got local family, they've got local cousins, but to have local friends is a huge thing for our kids, and for that is a huge thing for our kids to know that they are here.
Yeah, I think we live in a condo that's quite mixed with locals as well. So we've got a play park that's just behind us. So we make sure that we allow the kids time to go down and kind of mix with local kids. And they've got friends that will sometimes be at the park and they'll yell them from down the park to our balcony to go and play with them. So that's really important. And we've made friends with a few of the parents as well. So that's a good way to kind of meet local people, and they can kind of give you some local tips as well.
On that note, I think you should just make local friends. I think that's a really, really important thing. I mean, like I said, we're fortunate. I'm pretty local. Yeah, I kind of doubt myself sometimes when I say that. We're pretty local, and so we have we have church, we have our family, and so we constantly meet people who are from Singapore. And so having local friends means you just get a new perspective on Singapore. You find out all the nooks and the crannies and the different tips as well from local friends, which is really cool. I like that. If you don't live in a condo with a play park or something like that, there are play parks all over Singapore. I think it was in the 1970s. One of the politicians here decided that was it. We're going to build play parks where kids can blend with each other. Kids of all races can hang out, which is really, really cool. But it means that there are play parks everywhere. So take your kids to a local play park. Let them go have some fun, make some friends, go say hi to the parents. Now that Singapore is opening up with less masks being worn, like masks not being worn in public, I feel like Singapore is getting back to how it was pre-COVID, where people are prepared to look at each other and smile at each other. I'm just going to tell you this really cool story. The other day I was on the train with Milo, and it was packed. And there was this lady on there who came in, she was up right next to me, and as the train took off, she fell into me, and I was like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, and she said, oh, it's just that everything's so busy. And I think because like international travel's opening up, people are socialising a lot more, it is getting a bit more busy, but I just said, but we're seeing people again, and we're having conversations again. And she says, yeah, that's true, it's so nice to be able to have a conversation again, and to make eye contact with people, and they look back, and I just thought, you've nailed it right there. Like Singapore, that is what Singapore's like. You know, it's so friendly, and I think particularly if you've just been here for the last 2 years, you haven't experienced what I see to be one of the most beautiful things about Singapore, which is this beautiful community right across the whole country. So make some new friends, chat to some people, find out just how friendly everybody really is here. I feel like we have a little bit of a theme going on here now. But another one of our top tips is to get out of the malls where all of the air conditioning is, where all of the like big shops and everything are, and explore the local markets.
Local markets are great to go to. Sometimes you have to go quite early in the morning if you want to go and get the good stuff. But there's loads of markets around, and I find that they're often cheaper than the supermarkets. You can get more local produce from there. Sometimes it's fresher. So it just gives a whole different atmosphere walking around a market. I think I did feel a little bit nervous at first, wondering that I'm going to get ripped off perhaps, because I don't know the prices. I don't know what a kilo or whatever it is of...
Millie's got no idea about weight and stuff. Like,
no.
Online shopping has been terrible. Sometimes we'll end up with like a sack of ginger like this and one potato for the family.
Yeah, so like I was a bit worried that I don't know what like 1 kg of long uns looks like, but once I've kind of done it a couple of times and I kept going back to the same stall, you kind of build up a bit of rapport and like that friendliness, like there's just like another layer of, oh, how are you, because you've been there before. And I think just go for it. Don't be worried about it. Just give it a go. Pick up some new foods to try as well.
Definitely.
That's great at the market. Sometimes I wouldn't know what it was, but I'd bring it home and I'd be like, let's just try it. I've got a mystery fruit or a mystery vegetable today. A couple of them we ate when they weren't ripe and they were a bit gross. I can't remember what that was now, but
Definitely, I just remember what it was. Millie there was a few things, but one of them, Millie once bought this passion fruit, and we'd never seen passion fruit. In the UK, all passion fruits are kind of brown and crinkly. And this one was round and red and looked really juicy.
Yeah.
We had no idea what it was. I took a bite out of it. And it was just like that thick flesh, and I was like, oh, it's passion fruit inside. And so we ate the passion fruit.
Yeah, and there was the other thing that looked like a kiwi. It was very hard and that didn't taste good. But when we left it, I forgot about it in the fridge, and about a week later it was a little bit wrinkled. So I tried it and it was delicious.
That was a guava.
Was it
Is that
guava?
about? I don't
know. Anyway, mystery fruits and vegetables. It's the way forward.
Always good to do.
Having said that, we do enjoy going to a shopping mall every so often, just for a look around, see there's often different food centres. Yeah, so we will go somewhere else, like, you know, go to Punggol, go to Jurong, and we'll see what's at those shopping malls. Even if we don't particularly need anything, sometimes, you know, you do want to be out of the heat or it's raining. So going to the shopping mall, seeing what's there. We went to one and we found there's an ice rink downstairs.
In Jurong.
Yeah, out in Jurong. There's different food places as well there, so again, another opportunity to try different foods, try different drinks, and just have a look around to see what other shops there are rather than just in your localised area. Because it'd be very easy for us, there's an MRT really close by with one shopping mall. It'd be easy for us just to stay there and kind of just stay in our little local bubble, but we kind of get out, branch out a bit more.
Even though like they have their shops that kind of look the same, there's a variety, and I think we're starting to understand where we can get that at Next, we can get that at Tai Seng, or we can't get that at those ones. We've got to go to Paya Lebar for that, but you know, we're figuring out where to go to get certain things.
And better prices. We went to the outlet. What shopping mall is that? The sports one that we went to.
Going to Queensway?
Yes, we went to Queensway and we found that there were some trainers in there the same as what would have been at our local shopping mall. But it was cheaper. So that's another good bonus for looking around.
I think that's pretty much it from us for today. I'm sure there's other tips that we're going to pick up along the way, but we just thought this would be really, really cool to be able to share with you, so that whether you're local, whether you're living here, whether you're coming on holiday, there's something that you are able to engage with regards to our tips.
Yeah, and if you've got any others, do let us know, because then other people can read those in the comments and take those on board too.
And we'll be interested to know the tips, so that we can try them out. So yeah, explore more of Singapore, have a really, really good time doing it. Let us know what you get up to. Tag us on Instagram, make a little comment here, and we'd really, really appreciate it. Just now, I was talking about how I'm local as well as kind of being a foreigner. I've actually got a book coming out in the next few weeks called The Local Immigrant, and here is a little advert for it. I hope you have the opportunity to read it and maybe see you at one of the events. Hello everybody, my name is Jonty Tan and I'm thrilled to be sharing with you a little bit about my new book, The Local Immigrant. Over the past 2 years I have been blown away by your interest in and your comments on my story as a third culture kid and a returning son of Singapore. In this book I share the internal struggles of childhood growing up in a brand new culture, and also the tension of returning home yet still feeling so foreign. I'm also looking forward to meeting many of you at one of the book launch events, the details of which are below, or you can find by scanning this QR code now. We'll see you soon. As I said, it'd be great to be able to see you at one of the events that we've got coming up. Do keep checking it out, because we've got more events coming up as we go along as well, not just the pre-launch and the launch. So.
And as always, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate all of the support that you guys give us, all the comments, all the shares. So thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.